Hey everybody, if you love luxury, but you do not love paying full price, the pre-loved market can be a secret weapon to putting together your collection. However, with the fakes out there, the flaws, the pricing traps that we've all seen, it pays to shop smart. So I have 5 golden rules, if you will, that if you follow while you're buying pre-loved luxury goods, whether it's clothing, bags, or jewelry, I think will serve you well. I follow Business of Fashion and Business of Beauty. I have subscriptions to their magazine, and then I also follow them on Instagram. And they've had some interesting articles lately about tariffs, which I did an entire video on. Hopefully I'll remember to link it. With tariffs driving up costs, new clothing costs, and bags and shoes and jewelry and all that good stuff, that US shoppers are turning to resale apps. So Depop, for example, grew 125% in the first quarter compared to the previous quarter, so last year. Vestiaire Collective grew 50%, Poshmark grew 30%, and eBay grew 15%. And we're also seeing sites like The Real, What Goes Around, Fashion File, and others see a uptick in interest in shoppers who feel like the prices of new goods have increased and will continue to increase for various reasons, including these new tariffs. And they feel like, maybe we should turn our attentions to the pre-loved market. I have been shopping pre-loved for a very long time. Vintage, luxury types of goods. Purses, which you see an example of right behind me, jewelry, ready to wear, and I have some, I'd say, rules, but we can also call them guidelines that I think will help you guys manage this new shopping opportunity. So with all of that, let's talk about the rules, okay? Rule number 1, authentication should be non-negotiable unless, and I'll get to that in a minute, whether it's Chanel bag, a Cartier bracelet, a Dior dress, whatever it is, authentication is like step 1. So only shop from platforms that either guarantee a third party or in-house authentication process. So Entropy is one, Real Authentication, Authenticate First. Authenticate First. If you're buying peer-to-peer, like on the Vestiaire or something, they have an authentication process that they do afterwards. Like after you buy, they make sure they go through an authentication process. There have been issues with that, so just making that clear. eBay, same thing. There's a guarantee. But if you're buying like from someone say like I sometimes sell some of my pieces, you can ask for authentication. You can ask for an Entropy certificate or something. You can pay for that. And they're not that expensive. I think they're like $20 or $30. So it's not that big of a deal to get something authenticated. If you're dealing with a seller and they just like avoid any, discussion around authentication, and they say things like, trust me, don't trust them. Because the entire community of pre-loved, vintage, whatever you want to call it, they know that authentication is key and that fakes have become, better and better. It's harder to tell. And for me personally, I have chosen to shop with people who I trust, who I have a record with, who I know their stuff is real and that their pricing is good. It's not necessarily the best price. And I'll get into that, but I will tell you, pricing, if you're really looking for like a steal of a deal on a Chanel bag, for example, like a vintage Chanel bag, and the deal looks amazing, there's something wrong. Because everyone in the pre-loved industry knows exactly what these things are worth now. So if you find, say, a caviar mini Chanel bag and it's $2,000, there's either something wrong with it or it's not real. And I hate to say that because it sounds like I'm just being like, but that's the truth of it. Unless, and here's the unless, sometimes people do find things in the weirdest places, at like a yard sale or an estate sale from somebody who has passed away or something, and the people who are just putting it out in the yard. I live in Massachusetts. We have yard sales. Like that's a thing that still happens every weekend in the summer. Like every weekend, there's huge yard sales everywhere. And every once in a while, you do find these things that you're like, do you know what this is? And the family's like, no, we're just getting rid of everything. So yes, that does happen. But as a general general rule, if you're shopping pre-loved, on a continuous basis, make sure you get the authentication. Make sure you're buying from people that you trust. Like this bag here, this is from Kim at Anthology of Style. She is, especially when you're dealing with Chanel, she knows Chanel inside and out. She knows which bags are real, the jewelry, the bags, the shoes, all of it, the ready to wear. And when I'm buying Chanel, I buy from her. That's, like pre-loved. That's pretty much it. There are a couple of others that I would trust and I do feel very confident in, but Chanel specifically, Anthology of Style, is my go-to. The jacket that I was wearing at the Chanel Chanel event, the meetup that I did, that is from Kim as well. And I will tell you right now, these pieces were not inexpensive, but they are absolutely what they are promised to be, and I feel very comfortable buying from them. So, second, condition matters more than price. And this is when we get into the, what is it that you're looking for? A luxury item isn't a deal if it's falling apart. Like, can you go on the RealReal, for example, and get the bag that I want, that I still haven't purchased because it's very expensive, a jumbo, either caviar or I forget the lambskin, jumbo, oversized CC classic bag. And can you get it for $2,000, $3,000? Yes, you can. But the condition is always bad. Like, it's bad. Now, if all you want is the bag and you don't care, then fine. I want the bag to look almost like I just bought it, which is incredibly hard to do with pre-loved because, again, pre-loved. So Kim has these bags. She has sold a few of them, and I've missed out either because I wasn't available to be on her live or somebody outbid me or whatever. But they run about, $6,000, $7,000. They're very, very expensive bags, but the quality is there. So always ask for clear photos of the hardware, the stitching, the corners, the labels, look for a grading scale. RealReal and Fashion File, and they all have, fair, shows wear, all those things. For jewelry, make sure that you're looking at the hallmarks, like the little, names on it, certification paperwork, whatever it happens to be. Most of the time it's better to spend more money to get something in excellent shape because that is actually worth a heck of a lot more. It's going to last you longer if you're going to keep, like I keep my bags forever, basically. Every once in a while, I do have bags that I'm like, okay, these aren't things I'm going to keep. But to be honest, those are less expensive bags. If I'm shelling out ridiculous amounts of money for something, I've done my research and I know exactly what I want. And like this bag that I keep talking about, this jumbo size, I've wanted this bag for a very long time. And eventually I will be able to purchase it, hopefully. Maybe I will be able to save up for it. But when I do that, it's going to be a bag that I will keep for the rest of my life. So for me, the price is going to reflect the condition of the bag. Know the current market value. So this comes down to research. Do not go, please, I'm begging you, do not go on one of these sites and do like a live bid, which by the way, just a little side note here, if you're ever in a situation where you have the option of like bidding or just paying a price, pay the fixed price. Because the psychology of bidding, like when people start to bid for things, the price almost always goes higher than the fixed price would be. I know it doesn't sound like it, but where you hear those things, it's like a dollar auction. It never goes for $1, guys. If it's like a Chanel, mini caviar bag, it always goes above asking. And the reason is because everybody gets on because it's $1 and everyone's like, oh my goodness. And so you have, you're bidding against 2,000 people who all know the value of the item. So if you really want a great deal, like really a great deal, you have to do what the resellers do. You have to go to the vintage markets in Paris. You need to go to Brimfield. It's something that we do here in New England. That's 3 times a year. And in fact, it's happening, I think right now as this video goes up. I won't be here. I'll be on vacation. There's another one in July and one in September. And it's chaos. It's literally tables and tables and tents of people with thousands and thousands of items that you have to search through. And it's not pretty, and there aren't certificates, and most of the stuff needs to be, like a lot of the stuff needs to be fixed. And it's like rummaging through a rummage sale. Like it's Paris markets, it's London markets where stuff is thrown on a table. And in, a mess of like 70 pieces, there's that one Christian Dior necklace that's worth, $8,000. That's what you have to do to get an amazing deal. To get a really great product from the comfort of your home, it's unreasonable to expect that you're going to get $7,000 bag for $1,000 and it's going to be real. So do your research. Make sure you're looking at Fashion File and Rebag and The Real Real and Vestiaire, and go to the sold items and see your bag like on eBay or your jewelry or your ready to wear and figure out how much it is. Take a look at like what a current Chanel jacket costs, for example. Go to the site. Take a look at what it's selling for. Chanel you can't buy online, but go to the boutique and say, how much does this jacket cost? They're going to tell you it's $25,000 or whatever it is. So understand that, the pricing reflects the market. There are products that, go in and out of popularity that you can get at better deals. So for example, like when Louis Vuitton released the Murakami collection this year, the Murakami pieces from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they became more popular as people were buying them and the prices went up. Give it a couple of years, they'll probably go back down, because a couple of years ago, you could buy those Murakami pieces for much less. When they introduced the denim collection for Louis Vuitton, the new denim collection, the old denim collection from Louis Vuitton went up in price. I actually sold my old denim pochette because it was just a bag I never used. I used to buy more like hobo bags. I've talked about this. I love the look of them, but I don't use them. And so I've stopped myself. I just don't buy them now because I'm like, Jennifer, you're not going to use it. So I've learned. I'm older, matured. Don't buy things just because of the way they look, because you're not going to use it. So I sold that bag for a good price because everyone was looking for that collection. So you can take advantage of those types of things, either sell things that you have because they've become more popular, or wait till they're not as popular to try to buy them. Like, do not try to buy at the height of the price. The only products that I would say that it doesn't really matter are Birkin bags, Hermes Birkin bags, and Hermes Kelly bags. They don't lose their value ever, and they continually to go up in price every single year, and every single year it becomes more expensive to acquire one. It doesn't matter. They hold their value for whatever reason. And it's complicated about why, but you're not going to get a great deal. You're just not. I mean, unless it's a beat up bag that needs to be completely refurnished, they hold their value, so they're always going to be expensive. But everything else, really do your research. You should do your research on Birkin and Kelly bags too. Find out, so that when you see a good deal, when you see something that's excellent quality and a great price for that quality, you'll know what it is. But again, we're talking about expensive pieces here. These are luxury pieces, which is why there's rules involved. If we're talking about more inexpensive pieces, it's not as big of an investment. Don't get me wrong, it's still spending your money, and I'm not saying, just throw your money away. But I'm saying it's easier to, in my mind, say, okay, I'm going to spend $100, and maybe it's not the perfect thing, but I really love it and it works for me, and fine. Then spending $5,000 and then finding out it's a fake, or it's not, the condition that you wanted, or that you don't use it, because that's a huge investment. So all the research that goes into this, and the market value is a big piece of that, is extremely important. Ask about return policies, guys. Even the savviest shopper, like I just said, can get it wrong. I used to buy hobo bags. Make sure there is a return policy or guarantee, because in other words, if you got it and then you bring it to an authenticator and they say, this is not real, you can return it. So like Kim, all her stuff is final sale. But if something arrives and it's not in the condition she promised, or Anthology promised, or it's been shown to be not real, she will take it back. Now, I've never heard of a situation for her that something wasn't real. I have heard situations where people were not happy with the condition of the bag or whatever, and I do know that the Anthology has made sure that the customer is happy with with the experience. But I would not buy from final sale people like Anthology of Style unless you're 100% confident. And I know Kim would stand by that as well. You can watch her lives, you can, follow her. You do not have to buy. Just watch and follow and get to know what it is that you might be interested in, and only buy when you're 100% sure, because those types of disputes can just ruin the whole experience. And so I don't want anyone to ever do something like that. And if you don't feel comfortable buying from a final sale person like Anthology of Style, and there's many others I shop from her, so that's why I know her. She's authentic. Then don't buy from them. Buy from companies like The Real Real or Fashion File or Rebag, which do offer returns. It's a limited window, but they all offer some type of return. The last is, I think, kind of obvious, but I think we talk ourselves out of it, especially in a bidding process, because of the psychology of, bidding, holding up your little sticker and being like, I want that, because other people want that at the same time. Trust your gut. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And that's disappointing. And I get it, because we all want to find, right, the Chanel bag in the TJ Maxx. We all want to find the Birkin bag at a yard sale for $10. I mean, who wouldn't? And it does happen. You do hear these stories, like I said, about yard sales or estate sales. It does happen, but less and less these days, because now the internet's here. Let's just rewind 50 years, which is not that long. In the 70s, right? You could ostensibly see that a family was like, okay, a grandmother had passed away or something, and they have an estate sale, and they don't necessarily know what these bags are or the shoes are or whatever, and they could certainly have them below market retail. Now all you have to do is take a picture of it and upload it basically to Google, and Google will tell you immediately, this is worth $25,000. So it doesn't really happen anymore. And, there's good and bad to that. The good is that you can authenticate things very easily, or generally easily. You yourself can look up market value of things very quickly. If you want to sell items, you have a better understanding of the value. The bad is that generally you can't get the deal of the century, because people know they have more knowledge now. I think it's a good thing overall, but But if the seller's rushing you, if the photos look sketchy, if the seller says you have to buy now, any of that, just walk away. There'll be another bag. There'll be another pair of shoes. There'll be another necklace. I promise you. There are some pieces, right, that, and when I was in New York, and I have a video of that too, last year, Anthology of Style had an event where they opened up a museum for a couple of days, like a pop-up, and it had the Chanel Barbie collection. Those are pieces that are so rare and so expensive that everybody in the market, people who buy that type of product, they know, like you know what you're going to spend on those types of pieces. I mean, I don't own anything from the Barbie collection. It's far too expensive for me and where I, spend my money. But they are beautiful, and they are absolutely, stunning. And it was very clear though, like these are very expensive pieces. And somebody like Kim, Anthology of Style, or other, really renowned resellers will tell you. They'll be like, hey, this is a very prestige piece. This is not going to be, $5,000. This is going to be far above that. And there's no pressure to buy. They let you see it. They'll let you have different pictures of it. You think about it. They'll give you authentication, all of those things. That's what somebody who is, a real reseller, a trusted reseller will do. Anyone who tries to push you into something, just walk away. There's always another piece, unless, of course, it's some very, very rare piece. And if it is, that person is going to give you as much time as you need, because they know what the price point is going to be, and they understand it's not a, quick decision. So that's it. 5 simple rules, totally simple, to help you score like luxury treasures without, heartbreak at the other end of it. I think this whole process should be fun. You should be enjoying it. You should be finding the things that you love. And anytime there's something that comes in the way of that, whether you feel stressed or anxious, then don't do it. Really don't. Look for the things that you love. Find a process that works for you, that you like. Some people love the bidding process. Some people love the excitement of it. I don't personally. It makes me anxious. I don't love it. To be honest. So that's not really me. I'm more of a person who likes to hunt things down that I've wanted for a very long time, and I wait for the right opportunity, and then I purchase. Like, I will wait years, tens of decades for things that I really want, because to me, I find that enjoyable. Like, I'm looking for the right opportunity, and then I get it, and I'm proud that I was able to do that, and then I keep it for the rest of my life. But if you like the bidding process and it's fun for you, great. Find the thing that works for you. Find the seller that works for you. Find product that works for you. Just try to keep these rules in mind when you're doing it, so that you don't feel sad at the end of all of it, because that's the worst thing. I don't want that to happen to anyone. Stay chic, shop smart, and I want to know, like, what is your best pre-loved piece? Like, what's your favorite thing that you bought? Have you never shopped pre-loved? Are you thinking more about it now, like I said, because of the price increases and the tariffs and all that good stuff? Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell down below, because you want all these fashion tips and beauty tips, right? I mean, come on, like, who wouldn't? And I'll definitely try to weave these videos into some beauty stuff as we move along. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you in another video really soon.